Happy Thanksgiving once again. Um, Last night around 9 p.m., I was getting ready to sleep. Pastor called and asked me to give a testimony for our service this morning for Thanksgiving. And I said yes, even though I am not sure if I can do it. As you already know, I prefer singing to the Lord than doing the exhortation. Usually Jojo would do the exhortation, and I and Julia would sing the offering song. Anyway, since I said yes, let me start my very long testimony. To give a message on Thanksgiving in a year I consider a very difficult year for me. It's somewhat challenging because, as Ate Bong's lesson on our prayer meeting last Tuesday, we as humans tend to look at the black dot in a piece of white paper. We tend to magnify or focus on the bad things instead of the many blessings around it. The year 2025 started off with me and Jojo losing our jobs. Harlingen Medical Center decided to close down the Women's Services Department where I have worked for 16 years. We were told of the plan in December 2024. Yes, before Christmas, they informed us of the plan. Most of the employees in the women's services, which is mostly labor and delivery and postpartum, had already secured jobs in Valley Baptist Medical Center, Harlingen, and Knapp Medical Center, even before the year ended. But most of the nursery nurses, including me, haven't been offered a job in the places we applied to. Our unit closed on January 10, 2025. And at that time, I still haven't received any job offer. And then finally, on January 17, when I finally got an interview at Valley Baptist, Brownsville, I was given a job offer on the 21st of January, which I accepted, even though I wasn't really looking forward to the drive, since I don't really drive the expressway. Sister Dina reminded me in one of our prayer meetings that I even called it as kapit sa patalim, which literally means clinging to a knife, meaning to live in a desperate situation where one will do anything to survive. Yes, it may be an act of desperation, but I can also say that it was an act of surrender or obedience to God's plan for me. Since I believe that that was the door or window He opened for me at that time. I learned how to drive the expressway, which is a gain. I met new friends who, after they found out my illness, offered prayers, words of encouragement, and even financial help. As I worked in Valley Baptist, Brownsville, Jojo continued to send applications to different openings for dialysis technician, bank teller, even fast food chain manager, but to no avail. To make the ends meet, I started working extra at Valley Baptist, Harlingen in June. And by the end of that month, the director of NICU called me and informed me that a position will open, and if I want it, I can have it. I accepted it, although I still needed to finish my scheduled work days at the Brownsville unit, which made transfer date August 24 of this year. She agreed, which is another blessing from God. So I thanked and praised God because that was an answered prayer to be transferred to a workplace closer to home. A couple of weeks later, Jojo got a job offer from Davita at the Mercedes Clinic. So again, we rejoiced and thanked God for answered prayer. But not long after that offer, he was told that the position is no longer needed due to drop in census. And I a couple of weeks after transferring here in Valley Baptist Harlingen, was diagnosed of lung cancer. I remember Sister Dina's exhortation 2 days after I found out my illness was about downward spiral. And that's exactly how I felt that time. And I was crying as I listened to her message. It felt like that was God's message to me. And at the same time, I was asking God, what are you trying to tell me? That Sunday, I told pastor and the elders of the church about my illness, and I asked for their prayers. Days that I had to endure, after those, there are days that I had to endure bad news after bad news with doctor's visits and more diagnostic tests. I wished in some days that I will wake up and everything was just a bad dream, because every day felt like a downward spiral. But I knew pastor, my church family who knew my diagnosis, my family in the Philippines, and friends were praying for me during those times. Finally, after meeting my oncologist, God gave me a flicker of hope through the words of my oncologist. He said, I know what you have, and there can be an oral chemo that can put you on remission. It's not that the next days were easy. I had to be admitted to the hospital so they can put a tube to my lung cavity to be able to drain lung fluids that accumulate in my right lung until they can identify the kind of tumor that I have and start me on chemotherapy. I still have it right now, but I haven't drained anything for over a month now, so we're hoping that one of these days I can have it removed. After I started my oral chemo, that flicker of hope became bigger and brighter as God slowly revealed his plan. My shortness of breath disappeared. My coughing disappeared. And 2 days after I started it, I was able to offer a song here. And that's a big achievement for me. Upon diagnosis, I worried about my family, our bills, our finances. But since then, God had been faithful. I may still be in the valley of my life's journey, but still, I thank and praise God for sustaining me, for providing for our needs, and for strengthening me and my faith in Him. This Thanksgiving, despite of my life challenges, I choose to thank God for His never-ending love. And I thank all of you for your prayers and support. And I'd like to extend my mom's and my family's gratitude to all of you for assuring them that we have a family here. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.